Is the reign of the US dollar nearing its end? A thought-provoking question indeed, considering the dollar's long-standing position as the global benchmark currency. But as we delve deeper into the world of international economics, we find that this powerhouse might not be as invincible as it appears. The concept of de-dollarization is slowly but surely gaining traction. This refers to the gradual decrease in the dollar's share of global currency reserves, a drop from 72% in 2000 to 59% today. No clear replacement has emerged yet, but other currencies are certainly jockeying for position. The dollar's supremacy isn't just under threat from these new contenders. It's also grappling with internal issues, namely a ballooning debt. The US's debt problems are becoming increasingly severe, and if not addressed, could undermine the dollar's dominance. There's another plot twist on the horizon too. The potential emergence of alternative currencies, specifically from the rapidly rising BRICS nations. These countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are becoming increasingly influential players on the global stage. Could the rise of BRICS nations signal a changing tide in global economics? Stay tuned as we explore this provocative prospect further. While the dollar struggles, BRICS nations are emerging stronger. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, collectively known as BRICS, are making strides in economic growth and influence on the global stage. These nations are not just existing in the shadows of the world's traditional economic powerhouses, but are carving their own path and asserting their presence. Here's an intriguing possibility: a collective BRICS currency. This idea has the potential to disrupt the current currency regime and shake the very foundations of the dollar's dominance. Imagine a world where an alternative currency, backed by the economic muscle of these 5 nations, challenges the status quo. However, this vision is not without its obstacles. The journey towards a collective BRICS currency is fraught with challenges. For one, the growth rates among these nations vary significantly. While some are soaring, others are experiencing slower growth. This discrepancy can create tension and conflict in the implementation of a unified currency. Moreover, there are conflicting strategic interests at play, particularly between China and India. These 2 nations, while part of the same group, often find their economic and political goals at odds with each other, creating a complex dynamic that could potentially hinder the creation of a BRICS currency. Yet despite these hurdles, the potential for a BRICS currency remains. If successful, it could change the landscape of global finance. It could provide an alternative to the dollar, giving emerging economies greater control over their financial destiny. If successful, a BRICS currency could pose a unique threat to the dominance of the US dollar. The global economic landscape has been slowly shifting. Over the past 2 decades, we've seen a tangible decline in the dominance of the US dollar. From holding a considerable 72% of global currency reserves in 2000, it has witnessed a drop to 59% today. This decline is a reflection of the ongoing process of de-dollarization, a slow but steady journey towards a more balanced global currency landscape. Simultaneously, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been gaining economic influence. The possibility of a collective currency from these countries, though fraught with challenges, presents an intriguing prospect. Such a currency could achieve a self-sufficiency in international trade that has eluded other currency unions, potentially shaking the dollar's status as the world's top reserve currency. But this shift doesn't come without its hurdles. The economic growth among the BRICS countries has been inconsistent, and strategic interests, particularly between China and India, often conflict. Yet, these challenges do not negate the potential power shift in the global economic arena. Meanwhile, the US faces its own set of problems. Debt has been a growing concern for the country. With a staggering $32 trillion in public debt, the debt-to-GDP ratio is projected to rise to a worrying 181% over the next 30 years. The need for the US to address these ballooning debt problems is crucial to maintain the dollar's dominance. In the early 20th century, the British sterling's decline was partly due to mounting debt from the world wars. The US dollar could be treading a similar path if the current debt situation isn't addressed. The dollar's global role will depend heavily on the US managing its debt and improving its economic and political situation. As we look to the future, it's clear that the rules of the game are changing. The decline of the US dollar and the rise of BRICS nations represent a shift in the global economic landscape. The implications of these changes are yet to be fully understood, but one thing is certain: the world of tomorrow may look very different from the world of today. What does all this mean for the future of the US dollar? Well, we've examined the decline of the dollar's global dominance, with de-dollarization slowly occurring. We've explored the rise of BRICS nations and the unique challenges and opportunities they present. We've pondered the potential of a BRICS currency, a concept that, if realized, could nudge the global economic landscape towards a multipolar regime. While the dollar's hold isn't easily toppled, and no clear alternative has emerged yet, the winds of change are blowing. The future of the US dollar may be uncertain, but one thing is clear: change is on the horizon.